And thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm John Huddleston. New developments are coming out of Montgomery regarding the state of mental health care in Alabama. Construction has now stopped of the new Bryce Hospital, but is it a course correction or a simple slowdown by the Department of Mental Health? WVUA's Travis Leader spoke with officials from Tuscaloosa to Montgomery.
The people of the state deserve a complex plan, a comprehensive plan to deal with it. And so I think taking the time, making sure we get it right is the right decision.
And Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox is happy to see construction delayed on the new Bryce Hospital. But a spokesperson for Governor Robert Bentley says the governor still wants to see sweeping change to mental health.
He wants to have infrastructure in place to move patients from an institutional setting into a community-based program.
The Department of Mental Health Commissioner Zelia Baugh would not say when or if the Bryce project would resume. Only that the department is attempting to aid Tuscaloosa in its efforts to transfer patients out of institutions.
We're looking at reallocating those dollars to the community to build the appropriate community infrastructure for the closure of our hospitals.
Mayor Maddox says Tuscaloosa's community care cannot compare to what is currently being provided.
I am sure that the Department of Mental Health's wishes are to make sure that Bryce Hospital no longer exists. They've been very clear about that, but you can't do that when there's no infrastructure. There's no community-based network out there to handle it.
And Baugh says she understands it isn't easy to make a quick transition when it comes to mental health.
This is a very difficult thing as far as a lot of change in a short time frame. So we're always going to do what's best for the patient.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
And Commissioner Baugh also insists there will be no changes to the use of Taylor Hardin Secure Medical Facility. She dismissed reports from last month saying that the facility will not be transferred to the Alabama Department of Corrections. Local leaders were concerned if that happened, the building would be used as a prison. Well, now to an update on last night's primaries, and we begin with former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore and the likelihood that he will soon be back at his old job. Moore captured the Republican nomination for Chief Justice with a little more than 50% of the vote and is considered a heavy favorite to win the general election. Moore first won the Chief Justice seat in 2000 but was removed from that post in 2003 for refusing to abide by a federal judge's order to take down a Ten Commandments monument from the state capitol. Moore said in a press conference today, recent months have been trying but also rewarding.
I've spoken to virtually every city, big city in the state, and I've enjoyed it very much because there's so much we need to know about the law and get the feedback from the people.
Moore faces Democratic nominee Pelham attorney Harry Lyon in the November general election. Meanwhile, Moore's gain is Judge Chuck Malone's loss. The current Chief Justice finished third in the Republican balloting. WVUA's Courtney Highfield spoke to Malone earlier today about what his plans are for the remainder of his term and his future.
I believe that we ran a good campaign, a hard campaign. It was important for me to do the job that I was assigned to do first.
Although Chuck Malone lost the race for Chief Justice, he remains optimistic.
I told you I was an optimistic person last night, and I believed in that. I'm just that type person. I'm still optimistic about the future of our judicial system, and we'll continue to work hard.
Malone believes that despite the loss, his campaign was still a success, and he says he would not do anything differently.
Think about this. I hit the job August 1, been on the job 7 months. During that 7 months, I had to sit on every case that came before me. I'm current on all my cases. In addition to managing the court system, developing the 2013 budget, meeting with legislators. I know that Judge Graddick was having to do the same thing. He worked very hard in his circuit, managing that circuit. We didn't have the option of being able to campaign full time, so never having run a statewide campaign before, only a local, I feel like I succeeded.
Malone says he still has many plans for the state of Alabama for the remainder of his term.
I still believe in the vision of transparency, sound budgeting principles, speaking with one voice, taking our budget to the legislature, because it's just something that we've got to get funding for our courts for the next 2 years.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Courtney Highfield, WVUA News.
Malone calls Tuscaloosa home. He was appointed by Governor Bentley in August of last year to fill the vacancy left by the resignation of Justice Sue Bell Cobb. Well, in Tuscaloosa County, one of the biggest races that we have been following is that of probate judge. Sheriff Ted Sexton won the Republican nomination last night and will face off against incumbent Judge Hardy McCullum in the general election. WVUA's Jennifer Edwards sat down with both men today to find out what's next in the march towards November. Okay, we apologize for that. We're obviously having some technical difficulties with that. If we can get it corrected, we'll bring it to you later on in this newscast. Meanwhile, let's move on and talk a little bit about the weather out there. The question is it going to remain feeling like spring? WVUA Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott joins us now with a first look at Alabama's home team forecast. Hey, Richard.
Hey, John, yeah, good Wednesday night to you. And to answer the question, yes, it will be warm for quite a while, it looks like. In fact, next 7 days is going to be extremely warm for this time of the year. Upper 60s now. At this 10 o'clock hour in Tuscaloosa, we'll have 70 back in Little Rock, 65 in Nashville, 73 in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Temperature's going to stay warm over the next 24 hours. So through tonight, it will stay warm and muggy out there. By the way, shower storms happening earlier this afternoon, pretty much gone to bed. Now, more activity will likely develop tomorrow during the afternoon hours, but the chance of rain is small, about 20%. Many places will stay dry. Just like today, I think most spots start off mostly cloudy, a little foggy early tomorrow morning. 70 degrees at 9 o'clock, 83 tomorrow afternoon. We break out in full sunshine sometime just after 10 o'clock or so in the morning. What about the rest of the forecast, though? And we'll look ahead towards the weekend. Weather is coming up.
All right, Richard, thank you. Well, it is that time of year where many students are at the beach enjoying spring break, but some have decided to go a different route and lend a helping hand with their time off. Like these students from Georgia Southern University, they got to work today by helping clean up debris in Alberta City. They did things like pull up bricks from old home foundations. It's part of a mission trip for these students who belong to Baptist churches. One student says this was their way to serve others.
Help serve this community and love on this community that's still in such dire need of hope. We're really here to help show the love that Jesus has shown us and to show it to this community and love on this community through serving them.
And the Georgia Southern students weren't the only volunteers today. There were also students from Wake Forest University and Harvard University at other sites around town. They plan to all be in Florida tomorrow doing more mission work. Well, this year's Tuscaloosa Regional Air Show featuring the Blue Angels and the Golden Knights is getting closer and closer, but now the city needs your help. The air show is looking for volunteers March 31st through April 1st. Volunteers must be 17 years or older and need to be available to work a minimum of 8 hours. If you are interested, you can download the volunteer form at www.TuscaloosaRegionalAirShow.com. Completed forms can be mailed to the Tuscaloosa Air Show, 1028th Avenue, 35401 Tuscaloosa, or you can fax them to 205-349-0341. The deadline for the application is tomorrow.